Today is Sunday, December the 6th, 2015. Time being 8:30 a.m. Central Time. While my children and dad is getting ready for Sunday school this early morning, I decide to come out and sit in my car and make a YouTube video. And first I'd like to greet all human beings, no matter what your race, your color may be, no matter what your religion may be, because I done seen good Muslims, I done seen good Christians, I done seen good Catholics, I done seen people good in all religions. It's like I've seen bad in all. But I'm coming to you today to first, I want to give honor to a group that came out of Detroit, coming to Chicago as a unified new generation leader groups to support, to help the movement in Chicago, Illinois. And when you look at this, it's real short, but it's right to the point. Some people to look at them as being militant or racist. But when you have the pledge that's in our black communities nationwide, and ain't nobody else standing up, if you ain't for the cause, don't complain about what they doing. They got a right to say power to the people. Because if we don't stand up for ourselves, who will? If you for the cause, it don't make no difference what your nationality is. If you feel that a wrong is done to a human being, you're going to stand up against it. You ain't going to stand neutral. Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to injustice everywhere. John F. Kennedy, I might not quote it just as verbatim as he did, but he said, if there's an injustice to one person, there's an injustice to all. When the Pope came to speak at the White House in the United Nations, he said it himself. He didn't hold back. I have respect for him because he said, there's a grave injustice. I'm not I'm quoting him verbatim, but there's a grave injustice towards human beings here in the United States. But I want y'all to look at this here and listen real carefully to these brothers, man.
One man, one woman, one child, one community at a time, Until we all one, united race, new era, Detroit. What up, Chicago? We on our way.
I want you to hear that again. That sounds so nice. I want to hear it twice.
One man, one woman, one child, one community at a time, Until we all one, united race, new era, Detroit. What up, Chicago? We on our way.
Now, did you hear what they said? It's one child, one woman, one man, one race. United. We want to be united as one. And we're going to keep this movement up until it's done, till it's final. Let me tell you what Harriet Tubman would say about these brothers. She would like that. She would say, I'm going to paraphrase it. There's two things in life that God guaranteed me. And if I don't have one, I will surely have the other. And that's liberty or death. You know, down here in Charleston, Missouri, Harriet Tubman would say, I have freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if I could only convince these black folks down here that's trying to attack me for trying to stand up and make it a better place for them if I could only convince them that they were slaves. See, they figured because of the Emancipation Proclamation, when they took the chains off the arms and the shackles off the feet, you in a worse of slavery now. Mental slavery is worse than physical slavery. But you know, these people down here say, all he do is talk. But let me tell you something that I know for a fact, and the records would show. Every one of these leaders in Charleston, Missouri that's here now, women and men, preachers, bishops, missionaries, all of them together in this town, white and black. I can take all of what you all did as far as for justice for people in this area, and I can name you a couple of things that mine would supersede anything you did. Let me tell you about in around 2004, when me and 20 other individuals went to Matthews, Missouri. I was invited to go with some bishops, some missionaries, some preachers, some apostles. 20 of us went to go eat at a restaurant called Flying J's. They're everywhere. They like Denny's. Every state. And we was discriminated against. Food was thrown at me. And I decided the next day, out of the 20 in the group, to go back to talk to the manager. Told him what happened. Didn't get back with me. I called him again. He didn't get back with me. So I filed a discrimination claim with the Missouri Department of Human Rights, which the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, filed a dual complaint. Then I went to each one of these other 19 people houses. Some of them was wives and husbands, and some was family members. But I went to each one of them houses after I filed mine at the Human Rights Commission. It was in Charleston, Missouri then. I believe on Front Street. Not even on Front Street, but on Center Street. But it's not there anymore. You have to go to Jefferson City or St. Louis or Kansas City now for Southeast Missouri. But I went to each one of them houses helping them file them together. We filed, end up getting a probable cause. This is the 8th district, congressional district. It's hard for a black to get a probable cause from the Human Rights Commission, especially when you talking about just an accommodation, not against them, not an employee filing it, but a group of people filing it in a place of business. But God led me to do that. And we got a probable cause. We got a lawyer out of Shawnee Mission, Kansas, from Peru, came down here and took our case. This establishment offered us 2 free meals. Some of the people seemed like they wanted to take it, but I wasn't going to take it because I didn't like their meals and I didn't like the place. I just went because these people asked me to go. But we went and filed a federal lawsuit since they didn't want to settle out. Money wasn't the problem with me. I just wanted to let them know I'm not going to accept you treating me different than you treat white people. You ain't going to have me standing up for 30 or 40 minutes with 19 other people and white groups coming in and you seating them. And we had to seat ourselves eventually after almost an hour. But we filed it in the federal district in St. Louis, the federal court in St. Louis. The establishment asked the judge for a summary judgment. A summary judgment is asking the judge to look at the little bit that he have there and just rule and dismiss the case. He could have did it if he wanted, but he didn't. We had a jury trial, And then in a civil case, you get a 17 pool. And you pick 7 out of the 17. It didn't surprise me again. Out of the 17 pools, out of St. Louis, Missouri now, not one non-white, all white. But anyway, it was like 4 or 5 days, maybe a little longer, jury trial. And they came back. They said that they didn't see these people did anything wrong. Even though the lawyer showed they brought a black manager saying that she was there when it happened, and we produced it her time card showing that she wasn't there that day. But this jury didn't care. That's going on right here. They use blacks to lie, to cover up, to make things look like they're right. But anyway, this jury found, they said that even though that they found them not liable, they felt that these white people needed to get some type of sensitivity training. If you thought that, then you know they did some wrong. But that didn't bother me. It bothered some of them. It didn't bother the lawyer. I won because it was 4 or 5 years. They thought they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars lying. I didn't have to spend a penny, no more than going back and forth to court. That's one. I told these leaders here in this town about it. NAACP, same one been in for 20 years, would none of them get involved. But you had that lawyer out of Shawnee Mission, Kansas, came down. He got involved. Years later, at Black Gold Farms, from 2007 and to 2010, I got sick and tired of seeing KKK and being called the N-word. I complained to the general manager. I complained to corporate in North Dakota. Nothing done. I got that same lawyer. He came down with an Italian guy and stood up against these people. Human Rights Commission, give me a right to sue. We filed in the federal court district here in Cape Girardeau this time. And it went to a judge by the name of Limbard. Limbard is Rush Limbard's family members. I don't know nothing about the judge itself, but I know about Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh, there's no question of doubt, he have no respect for blacks and Jews. But the law firm that took these farmers who I was working for, we producing potatoes for Frito-Lay, Walmart, Wendy's, McDonald's. The law firm that took their case was the Limbard law firm right there in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. The courthouse, the federal courthouse, is named after Limbard. They claim they did no wrong. But in 2012, you know what they did? They settled out. But let me tell you about Limbard. When the case went to Limbard, he didn't go no farther. He knew he used to work for the Limbard law firm, and he recused himself. That's what a judge that's standing on the law would do. Unlike here in Charleston, Missouri, with S. Robert Barker, when Lester Gillespie filed a protection order against me on October the 14th, 2015, saying that my YouTube videos is trying to incite a riot. He's the intended target, and it's a threat to him, his family, and the Suzanne Wesley Learning Center employees. But ain't nobody else found it but him. But once Bob Barker seen that, who found that expose, Bob Barker used to be the lawyer just recently for the Suzanne Wesley Learning Center. He know Lester Gillespie worked it for them, because Lester Gillespie been working for the Suzanne Wesley Center since 1997. He got caught up in voter fraud in 1998 while working for Suzanne Wesley. Suzanne Wesley want criminals. Not all of them now, but want criminals. For giving drugs to drug addicts and alcohol to alcoholics to vote. Surely Suzanne Wesley know his history. But that judge should have recused himself just like that federal judge did. But see, they know don't too many people look at what they doing down here. But my point is, there's going to be a change. No matter what happens in that case that I was just heard, I claim the victory. Ain't no leadership down here. Detroit, Chicago, come down here and give me a hand.